All right. Welcome to the Vendor's Edge podcast. I'm your host, Bill Davenport with Anchored Market Ventures. We're your number one source for vendor knowledge and empowerment. Today, we're going to be talking about mind over market and cultivating a growth mindset for farmers market vendors. Having a growth mindset is super important for vendors at a farmer's market. It really helps you overcome adversity. It helps take you from being a hobbyist or a part-time vendor and setting yourself up for success in becoming a business and growing and expanding from where you started at. You're going to hit obstacles at your local farmers market and events that you do. And having a growth mindset really helps you analyze and understand what those setbacks are, how you react to those setbacks. But it also puts you in a position so that when opportunities come up, you're able to tackle those opportunities full speed ahead, um, and do what's best for you and continue to grow. I got a little, I was sitting thinking about growth mindset and how it really applies to farmers markets and farmers market vendors, and trying to understand how it's important and really put a grasp around it. And I came up with, as vendors, us developing a growth mindset is important because it helps us foster adaptability. It encourages us to learn from challenges and mistakes, and it opens the door to innovative ways for us to attract customers, improve our products, and grow our business. I think that pretty much wraps up the growth mindset in a nutshell. But when you look across the board, regardless of the industry or the business, having a growth mindset is probably a common thread that you see throughout all the businesses, all the brands, and all the folks that are setting themselves up for success. So, today we're going to discuss how to shift your perspective so that it helps you unlock new opportunities. It helps you overcome challenges that you may face, and it keeps you thriving in a competitive market. With that, we're going to jump right into what is a growth mindset. Well, that term was coined or has been attributed to being coined by Dr. Carol Dweck. I apologize if I say that name wrong, but she was a psychologist way back in the day, and she believed that a growth mindset was hugely important for folks to tackle adversity and to grow. But she basically says it's the belief that skills and success come from effort, learning, and perseverance. And those are all things that, as farmers market vendors, we should be doing. We should be putting forth a good effort to our business and to our marketing. We should be constant students, which is learning. And then when the going gets tough, we got to persevere. The success line as a vendor isn't straight. It's more like that graph that you see of a stock market where you have good days, you have little valleys, it goes up. The overall trend is you want to arch up, but you're going to have some days in there that are down. And those days may be a couple weeks. It may be, oh, excuse me, it may be a bad month, but having that growth mindset is knowing that tomorrow is going to be better than today. Next week is going to be better than this week. Next month is going to be better than this month. So it's knowing that what's to come is going to be better than today. And it really is getting this space right here in the right place so that you can succeed. When it comes to a growth mindset, a lot of us are stuck in what's called a fixed mindset. And a fixed mindset could be, as a vendor, you could say, I'm not good at sales. Well, a growth mindset would say, I can learn strategies to improve my sales skills. So there's a difference. A fixed is stuck, there's no forward progression. It may actually lead to a little bit of degradation where you slide backwards, but you're not going forward, where I'm not good at sales. Well, that may be true today, but that doesn't mean it has to be true tomorrow. And how do you fix that? Learning. When you learn, that gives you a new perspective on a skill, and it's a skill that you can practice at the markets. And over time, you can hone and refine that skill and become better at it. And as you become better at it, you start to mentally realize, hey, I can do this. And as you do this, you get better, and then your sales increase. Is all related to each other. But if you stick in that, I'm not good at sales, that's where you're always going to be. And that's not where we want to be as vendors at a farmer's market. We want to constantly be getting better. So, why is this important? Why is a growth mindset ultimately important? And why does it matter to us as vendors? Well, markets are a dynamic environment. And in that dynamic environment, we have to adapt, whether that's to the the clientele that day, the weather, our sales offering, the products that customers are wanting in a region or an area, and that requires us to constantly be learning. So, what are some of the benefits of a growth mindset? Success. That's what it boils down to. Having a growth mindset puts us in the best position to be successful. You very rarely, I won't say never, but you very rarely see somebody in a negative headspace, somebody that's always negative, be successful. There are outliers, there are exceptions to every rule, but as a whole, folks that are successful in whatever they do have a positive mindset. They have a mindset for growth, and they realize very quickly when they're slipping into that negative space, and they get out of it quickly. So, benefits of a growth mindset, it allows you to adapt to market trends, staying ahead by experimenting with new products, new displays, new strategies. For products, that's when you're getting that feedback from customers about what they want, what they're looking for. You're staying tuned in to your business lane and your product niche. So you're seeing what's going on nationally. It may not be happening here right now, but if you're plugged in, you can maybe bring some of those trends to your area sooner rather than later. And you're a trendsetter. So you're getting into the market ahead of everybody else, which really sets you up for success more than the folks that are gonna get into it later on down the road when it becomes bigger across the area. Displays, how you display your products. We're always preaching the texture and depth and height to your displays. Constantly be trying out new stuff. Constantly change your booth displays up. If you don't see the customers coming into your booth, maybe there's a reason. Maybe something that's originally didn't catch your attention as being a blocker that prevents folks from coming into your booth. Maybe you can shift a table around, eliminate a table, move it to a different position, make your booth more inviting. Always work with your displays. And then there's strategies. With the strategies that could be um your sales, your bundle deals, buy one get one free. During this market, you're doing marketing posts that say, hey, if you come see us today at this particular market, all of our soaps are 25% off today and today only. There's a whole bunch of different strategies that you can implement, but constantly be trying strategies and adjusting them as you go. Some are going to work great and you're going to knock it out of the park. Others are going to fail miserably, and that's okay. It's all about trying stuff, learning, adjusting, and then utilizing the strategies that fit best for you and your products and your business. It's turning failures into lessons. Slow days happen, and a lot of times as vendors, we think of slow days as failures, whether it's a failure of the market, a failure of not being able to get the handful of customers that are at that market that day to come in and purchase from you. Use those slow days or those failures that you think are failures, turn them into learning experiences. When you're at a slow day, how do you at a slow market, how do you turn a slow market into a lesson or a success? You do it by, that's an opportunity to go out and network with the other vendors that are around you. On a busy day, you're in your booth, you're hustling, you're selling product, you're not able to really get out and maybe meet the new vendors that are around you or see other products that are around your booth because you're in your booth making sales. Well, on a slower day, that's an opportunity that you can take a little time and go over and meet new vendors, see what other products are out there. Maybe it opens the door to be able to do a collaboration. You can use those slow days to hop on your phone right here, do some social media post and some social media branding and marketing that now you freed up a little bit of time away from the market that you can do some other stuff for your business. Turn your failures into success, use them as lessons. Failures aren't forever. They're a temporary setback that lead to greater success. And then continuous improvement. As humans, we grow through trial and error. Trial and error is a fact of life, and how we react to those trial and errors really have a huge effect on whether we succeed or whether we fail. Look at what we think we're not doing good and come up with a plan on how we can do better with it. If it's a skill you think you're lacking, learn. Go out there, listen to podcasts. YouTube is a great resource for going out there. There's a lot of other folks that probably are teaching that skill. Um, if you think you're an introvert and you're having a hard time uh, reaching out and talking to folks as they come by your booth, there's a lot of people on YouTube that are introverts that became a little bit more extroverted that are in sales, and they can teach you. You can relate to them. You can say, hey, that applies to me. and they can show you a way so that you're not having to figure out how to reinvent the wheel. These folks have already invented the wheel and they're willing to share it with you. So books are a great way. You can go to the seminars, but you want to always be continuously improving. Maybe your display, work on your display. If you do multiple markets, what works at one market may not work at the next market. So if you see it's really knocking it out of the park at a particular place, but at your other place, you're just not getting the same interaction, it may be your display, with all things being equal. So don't be afraid to change it up. Don't be afraid to change it up during the market, but continuously improve, continuously set marks and goals that you want to achieve, and then strive to achieve those. And then how to develop a growth mindset. How do we develop this mindset from where we are now to really switch that gear, switch that switch to get us into that growth mindset? And I can tell you, me retiring from the military and then going into a business as a vendor and then eventually to running farmers markets, a growth mindset was something that didn't come naturally to me. Um, and even to this day, I'm constantly watching podcasts, I'm constantly learning conferences, talking to my peers, trying stuff, failing, adjusting, but the little victories lead to big victories, which give you the propulsion, the fuel to keep going and to keep growing. So the first step with developing that growth mindset is embracing challenges. Don't be afraid of them. Challenges, they happen. They're a part of life. They're a part of business. They're a part of farmers markets. Embrace them. Don't be afraid of them. I know that's probably easier said than done because some challenges, for a lack of a better phrase, scare the poop out of us. And it goes for me. Sometimes there's a challenge in front of us, and we're just like, you feel like that David and Goliath moment, and you're David, and that challenge is Goliath. But as scared as it may make us, or as much as it may make us want to take a step back, embrace it. Get out of your comfort zone. When you get out of your comfort zone and embrace that challenge, it really gets that creative energy going. It gets you looking for a result, for an answer. How do I tackle this challenge? And you it gets you learning new skills, learning new information, knowledge. But there can be challenges of trying a new market, collaborating with other vendors. Ultimately, it comes down to overcoming your fear of failure, because fear of failure is at the root of almost every challenge and how we approach it. So don't be afraid of failure. Embrace it. Know that failure, just scratch that word failure out and put learning, because that's all failure is. It is a learning opportunity. And that learning opportunity is growth. That's the growth mindset. Learn from feedback, collecting and analyzing customer feedback, whether that's when you're at the market. Hey, you bought that last week. Have you had a chance to try it out? What'd you think about it? What'd you like? What'd you not like about it? Get that feedback. And when you get that feedback, write it down. Always have a pen and paper in your booth, because I promise you, we're not going to remember all of it as much as we're like, I'm going to remember that. When you get done packing up, you're in your car, you're heading home at the end of the market, you're going to be like, I had a conversation. I have no idea what we just talked about. And I know it was important. So carry a notebook, post-it notes, whatever it is, have it in your booth. So after you have that conversation, when they leave and you have that little downtime, just write it down, what they loved, what they didn't like. You can put stuff out on social media. Hey, we want feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let us know. You don't have to post it on social media. Here's our email address. Email us. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback so that we can create a better product for you. But learn from that feedback. That helps you refine your product. It helps you refine the services that you're offering. It may be, "Hey, we loved your product. We have nothing wrong with it. Thought you were a little grumpy." Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna work on my professionalism because I wanna be a business, and professionalism is huge in a business. So feedback, super important. And then commit to lifelong learning. Being a student. We are always a student. Attend workshops. I promise you, whatever it is that you sell at your local farmer's market, whether you're a farmer, uh, you harvest honey, you make goat's milk soap, handmade jewelry, woodworker, you grow microgreens or local mushrooms, make jelly and jams, a homesteader, arts and crafts. There are workshops out there that are just for you. They'll teach you, you'll learn something from it, a new technique, a new product, a new way of doing things, a new way of marketing. You can listen to podcasts, read books, talk to your peers, but there's a lot of things that you can do to learn, and learning that new knowledge, those new skills is powerful, and it keeps you in that growth mindset and going forward and being successful. And it also helps you stay up to date on industry trends, whether that's new eco-friendly packaging that's coming out, there's eco-friendly herbicides or pesticides if you're growing stuff, new ways of new eco-friendly material if you're making stuff out of renewable resources. There's industry trends on marketing for social media, email newsletters. If you're looking at new ways to collect payment at a farmer's markets, there's new trends on payment systems. Whatever it is, there is something out there that you can learn to keep going. And that knowledge, it sets you up for success like nobody's business. And that success keeps you in the growth mindset. And then that leads us in to practical applications for vendors. I just want to take a second, real quick. We have the book Farmers Market Success, a comprehensive guide for vendors. If you're a lot of this stuff, this is an A to Z guide. We really get your mind in the right place for being a farmers market vendor. You can buy it on Amazon. We'll have a link below. It's a great resource for vendors, and it's a great way to support us here at Anchored Market Ventures. So definitely check it out. Um, we'd greatly appreciate it. So, but practical applications for vendors, setting goals, but not only setting goals, set smart goals. So, what's a smart goal? We can step back and say, I want to increase my business this year by 100%. I want 100% increase in revenue this year for my business. Is that really a smart goal? I don't know. That's something you're going to have to determine, but you want to sit back, look at everything that happened this year, have conversations with those in your business, those in your family, maybe some close associates and friends, and say, this is where I want to go this coming year. How can I achieve that? Well, Maybe a smart goal is say, I want to increase my revenue by 20% over 6 months by improving my product displays and leveraging social media to help reach new customers and to drive traffic to my booth. To me, that's a smart goal because at 6 months, I can adjust. Maybe you take that 6 months down to 4 months. So once a quarter, or eh, I don't know, math, I'm blanking right now. But once every four months, you're reevaluating. Maybe that 20, we achieved it really quick. So let's go and bump our revenue increase to 30%. Those are smart goals because when you set smart goals, you achieve them and then you get to celebrate those victories. And what do those victories do? They give you fuel to keep going. They give you the fuel to stay in that growth mindset. Track your progress. When you start operating as a business instead of a hobby, it becomes easier to track your progress. Use spreadsheets, different apps to monitor your sales, your expenditures, but overall, the growth of your business. I'll tell you, you can use Square if you're like the little Square readers, they hook up onto your phone at the market. So when people charge their cards, it records it. Square is set up too, so all your cash transaction, not your trash transactions, but your cash transactions, you can record those too. Keeps it in Square. Here at Anchored Market Ventures, we use Wave. Love it. Highly recommend it. I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to check it out. But track your progress. If you're running it as a hobby, a lot of times what happens is we don't fully record it. We don't put the full effort into it because we think, oh, it's just a hobby. It's just something I'm doing because I love it. You can do that same thing as a business and love it and keep better integrity of your finances, track your sales, track your expenses. And then that gives you feedback that you can make more informed decisions without winging it from the hip. So use the tools that are out there, whether it's a spreadsheet, an app, use something to track your progress, to track your finances, your expenses, your income, and that'll give you a better all picture, which will help keep you in that growth mindset. And then celebrate the small wins. We should be celebrating wins, not only for us, but our friends that are out at the market. Celebrate wins. Wins are important, and celebrating those wins is even more important. Acknowledge that progress, acknowledge that hard work that went into it, and then stay motivated to be successful. Celebrating wins helps keep us from being down, from being depressed. When we do end up being depressed, because it happens, those small wins gets us out of there quicker. It gets us back on track. It gets us going forward and it keeps us growing. So, kind of in closing, having a growth mindset is super important for you as a vendor at your local markets. It's going to set you up for long-term success. It's going to help you realize benefits of selling at your market, and it's going to help keep you going forward. Having a growth mindset opens up doors and opportunities. It leads you to actionable strategies and it helps you cultivate that winning mindset. So I encourage each and every one of you this week, look at your thoughts and beliefs with how you're vending at your markets. What's a fixed mindset thought that you have? And how can I change it to a growth mindset way of thinking? Because that's all it is. It's just changing how we see things, changing how we think, and that'll get us going forward and to where we want to be. So let me know in the comments something that you're going to work on this coming week, this coming month, the coming 6 months. We'd love to hear what you're going to work on, how you're going to reframe it. I'm Bill Davenport with Anchored Market Ventures, your number one source for vendor knowledge and empowerment. And I can't wait to see you guys out at your next market.